Ko na nga pala.
Saan tatawag daw si Justine?
Hi, Justine!
Hi! Sorry, wala ako on cam. Pero can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Good morning, I'm Shawnee Yao, and this is One News Now. The Philippines will sign today an agreement for the purchase of 2 million doses of AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine. National Task Force Chief Implementer Carlito Galvez says our deal with British-Swedish pharma firm AstraZeneca is a product of discussions between the government, the private sector, pharmaceutical firms, and embassies of various countries. Aside from that, Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship, Joey Concepcion, is leading the private sector's efforts to procure up to 3 million doses of the vaccine to augment the government's initiatives. But Galvez reminds the public to continue observing health standards, although efforts to secure vaccines are underway. He says the realistic timeline for the rollout of COVID vaccines in the Philippines is by the end of 2021 or early 2022. Galvez says earlier reports that the vaccine will reach Philippine shores as early as March next year actually paints the best-case scenario. Meanwhile, developers of the Sputnik V vaccine has called on AstraZeneca to try combining its experimental shot with the Russian one to boost efficacy. The latest clinical trials show that Moscow's vaccine is 92% effective against COVID-19, while AstraZeneca says that its shot had an efficacy rate between 70 and 90%. Sputnik developers are now proposing a new clinical trial to check the effectiveness of a regimen combining the two shots. And the World Health Organization is urging the public to move more in order to stay fit amid the pandemic. In its first guidance in a decade, the WHO says that all adults should do a minimum of 150 minutes of vigorous physical activity per week to improve both their physical and mental health in the COVID-19 era. Meanwhile, children and adolescents are advised to limit screen time and instead allot 1 hour daily for exercise. WHO officials say that sedentary behavior has been linked with increased likelihood of contracting certain diseases. And this is why people of all ages must compensate for the standstill caused by the pandemic by exercising to ward off diseases like diabetes, cancer, and heart disease, as well as depression and anxiety. And Metro Manila mayors want to retain General Community Quarantine or GCQ status in their cities throughout the holidays. NTF Chief Implementer Carlito Galvez says that local chief executives are concerned over a possible spike in coronavirus cases should Metro Manila be moved to a more relaxed modified GCQ status. Navotas Mayor Toby Tiangco says there's already a big risk that cases will spike during the holidays even if GCQ status is maintained. Moving to MGCQ will simply increase that risk. Malabon Mayor Antolin Oreta III says that the best way to avoid a post-holiday increase in cases is to observe physical distancing and to avoid large Christmas gatherings altogether. Mayors around the metro also agreed to ban caroling this Christmas due to studies showing that singing is a likely cause of increased transmission. And to help enforce social distancing and other health protocols, police presence will be doubled in crowded areas ahead of the holidays. New Joint Task Force COVID Shield Commander Cesar Binag says they're working closely with LGUs to support efforts in enforcing safety protocols. Binag also appealed to the public to impose these protocols within their homes, especially when receiving guests for the holidays, in order to prevent the spread of the virus. And as for those who love completing the Simbang Gabi year after year, Binag has this to say.
Although nag-a-appeal kami, kung pwede rin naman yung iba o yung mas nakakarami, sana magsimba na lang tayo sa online, virtual. Total, ang ating namang Panginoong Diyos, present siya kahit saan, no?
We're going to be pausing for a quick break, but we will be back with more stories after that. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The MMDA has already closed several U-turn slots along EDSA, so let's see how that's affecting traffic on this Friday morning. For the latest update on the ground, joining us is Justine Punsalang from EDSA Balintawak. Justine, I'm afraid to ask, but how's traffic looking today?
Sean, traffic is moderate to slow moving here at EDSA Balintawak this morning. This is as the MMDA continues with their plan to close down 13 U-turn slots along the National Highway. Earlier this morning here in EDSA Balintawak around 6 in the morning, the traffic was actually fast and very light. But as the day progresses at around 8 a.m., the traffic grew heavy, and now the traffic is back to the moderate to heavy traffic. Many motorists who are not yet aware of the alternative routes are passing through just to be able to take the U-turn slots near MCU. Furthermore, MMDA spokesperson Celine Pialago said that their long-term plan is to have the Monumento Circle as the only slot for vehicles who want to make a turn. She also said that they plan on creating an elevated busway from Balintawak going to Quezon Avenue. In the meantime, Pialago is asking for motorists' understanding and suggested to take alternative routes. However, these alternative routes are for private vehicles and not public transportation, like jeepneys with the routes Novaliches to Blumentritt, Monumento to SM North, Congressional to SJDM or San Jose del Monte in Bulacan, and Project 6 to Quiapo. The jeeps sadly do not take the alternative routes because they are not part of their LTFRB mandated routes. So instead, they have no choice but to take the already congested area or already congested EDSA or inner roads. Sean, meanwhile, during the Laging Handa briefing, MMDA General Manager Jojo Garcia said that they are already in talks with the DOTR to reopen the previously closed U-turn slots. Not all, but just he specifically mentioned that they are planning or they are studying to reopen the U-turn slot in North Avenue and Congressional Avenue. Sean?
All right, thank you for that update. Justine Punsalang of News 5 joining us live from EDSA Balintawak. In the weather today, we have a weak low-pressure area spotted hovering over central Luzon. Pag-asa last spotted this LPA in the vicinity of Bubulong Munti in Bulacan. It is not expected to intensify into a tropical depression, although it will bring cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms over parts of Luzon, including Metro Manila, Central Luzon, Calabarzon, La Union, and Pangasinan. Meanwhile, the northeast monsoon will be bringing light rains over the Cordilleras, the Cagayan Valley, and the rest of the Ilocos region. And finally, the Caraga, Davao region, Bicol region, Mimaropa, and the Visayas, as well as the rest of Mindanao, will be seeing cloudy skies and scattered rain showers or thunderstorms because of the easterlies. For more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Sean Yao, and we are One News.